1997 year in review continues with me, Daniel Rock 08, and today I'm talking about WCW's World War III, which is one of the worst match stipulations there is. What is World War III? World War III is this big match. It's this big match where you have three rings, and it's a 60-man battle royale, and you have 20 men in each said battle royale. And World War III is, the show itself is built around this fucking big World War III Battle Royale match. And to say it's a ripoff of the Royal Rumble would be an understatement. However, to say it's comparable to the Royal Rumble is a slap in its face, because Royal Rumble match is way the fuck up here. World War III is way the fuck down here. WCW always had stupid match stipulations, okay? But World War III was one of the most consistently stupidest gimmicks they put on. Because they put this shit on every year from 1995 through 1998. And hell, if you want to include the Battle Bowl Battle Royale, it fails at the same fucking... It fails on every aspect as well. Because in the Battle Royale, you would have two guys teaming up against each other. Two guys at random teaming up with each other to face another team completely at random, and the winner of all these tag team matches will go on in a two-ring Battle Bowl Battle Royale and win some fucking trophy. And they've been doing this. So you had the Battle Bowl, you had the World War III, and they would do this every fucking year. So both of these match stipulations, they're both basically the same deal. And they're both fucking shit. World War III even more so, because you have to deal with 60 superstars, and it's hard as piss to follow. Not to mention, the announcers couldn't give a fuck less about this show, this match, because they keep on fucking up everything. When the camera is on ring 2, they say it's ring 3. Ring 3 is ring 1, and the camera people, they miss eliminations all the time. They miss important eliminations. So it's just a big clusterfuck of a mess. So Battle Bowl and World War III as well are just, both are horrible. If I had to do a top 10 worst stipulations, worst match types, World War III / Battle Royale Battle Bowls would be on that said list. Anyways, let's talk about World War III as a pay-per-view as a whole. This show is mediocre as balls. It's just awful. Well, it's not awful. It's just mediocre. You know, it's just boring and nothing special of a show whatsoever. You know, there are certain shows out there that are memorable for many reasons. Whether they're great reasons like WrestleMania 19 or WrestleMania 17 or a SummerSlam 2002 or WCW Starrcade in the 80s, or hell, even for bad reasons they're memorable, like New Blood Rising, Great American Bash 2000, 2004, Judgment Day 04, ECW's December to Dismember 2006, so on and so forth. But then you have a show like this that's not memorable for anything whatsoever. Not even World War III Battle Royale itself is fucking memorable in any stretch of the imagination. It's just one of those shows that's completely forgettable. Okay. Faces of Fear defeat Glacier and Ernest the Cat Miller in a hard to describe the match. A 3 out of 10. Perry Saturn defeats Disco Inferno with the help of Raven's Flock to retain the television title. Whatever. 4 out of 10. Nagata, however you want to pronounce his name, defeats Ultimo Dragon. Decent match here. A 6 out of 10. These guys had a decent story. Ultimo Dragon was betrayed by Sonny Ono a few months prior. He needs to defeat Nagata. Or Nagata. Whatever the fuck. And if he beats him, he gets Sonny Ono. He gets to beat up Sonny Ono. But that doesn't happen. Next up, the Steiner brothers defeat the Blue Bloods, which is Bobby Eaton and Lord Steven Regal. And to retain the tag team titles. Yes, the Steiners won the tag team titles. Not on pay-per-view, but on a Nitro for some particular reason. So finally, the Outsiders lost, and the Steiners win the tag titles on a Nitro, and they get to face the Blue Bloods. I don't know why. How the Blue Bloods become #1 contenders, I don't know. 4 out of 10. Raven defeats Scotty Riggs. 3 out of 10. Next, Mongo defeats Alex Wright in a very bad match. A 2 out of 10. This match was supposed to be Mongo versus Goldberg. Looks like we would have to wait till Starrcade 1997 to get Goldberg's very first pay-per-view match. Yes, Goldberg's very first pay-per-view match was Starrcade against fucking Mongo. Goldberg's first storyline was to face off against Mongo for the Super Bowl 20 ring. Who is the better football player in the WCW? Well, I mean, yes, Goldberg was a great football player. He had to retire because of injuries. Mongo did get the Super Bowl ring. However, Mongo wasn't really a big member of the Bears in 1985. But I'm not a big football guy, so I wouldn't really know per se. Anyways, this match is dog shit. 2 out of 10. Mongo and Goldberg was supposed to face off, but no, it's Mongo and Alex Wright. Whatever. 2 out of 10. Eddie Guerrero defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. to retain the Cruiserweight title. Yes, Eddie Guerrero beat Rey Mysterio for said Cruiserweight title and got it back. So Eddie Guerrero beats Rey Mysterio Jr., and this had been one of the very few times that Rey Mysterio lost to Eddie, because every time I see these two match up against each other, I always see Eddie lose. So Eddie Guerrero beats Rey Mysterio Jr., and this had been like the third or fourth, one of the 3 out of 4 or 5 times he beat him. Whatever the fuck. Anyways, this match is awesome. However, to say that this matches up to their Halloween classic, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. I give this match an 8 out of 10. There were a couple of botches. They just didn't click as well as they did on Halloween Havoc, which was such a fantastic match. This match is a little longer, but it's just not as good, but it's still a great match, and it's really the only match I recommend in this show. An 8 out of 10. Kurt Hennig defeats Ric Flair to retain his United States title. So every title that was on the line was retained here. Kurt Hennig retains the title in a good United States title match. Ric Flair, this is a no disqualification match, by the way, so of course NWO members were in this. Ric Flair does something that's very uncharacteristic of him. He goes to the top rope, and he actually nails a diving axe handle to the outside on Kurt Hennig. Fucks up his knee, fucks up his legs really, really bad. So now it's all about working the knees. Ric Flair works Kurt Hennig's knee. He brings out a steel chair. He puts Kurt Hennig's knee in between the chair and kicks the seat of the chair, so that way it smacks up against Hennig's knee. Very nice spot there. Some good spots. Much better than a Halloween Havoc match where Kurt Hennig retained his Cruiserweight title. I will never forget the image of seeing the Cruiserweight title on the line between Ric Flair and Kurt Hennig, but here, this match is better. I give it a 6 out of 10. Good match here. And then we get the main event, the 60-man not over the top rope, this 60-man World War III Battle Royale. This match is dog piss. It's shit. It's one of the worst matches I've ever seen. World War III 60-man Battle Royale, whatever the fuck you want to say. This 3 rings of bullshit. It's hard as fuck to follow. It's nonsensical. First of all, it's not 60 men, it's 59 men. So let's start off. You have 59 men in this match. It's supposed to be 60, but Kevin Nash doesn't show up. You have basically in one ring the NWO guys, and there's 5 of those guys. Savage, Savage, Hall, supposed to be Nash as well, Vincent, Buff Bagwell, and a couple other NWO guys. Then you had that's in ring 1. In ring 2, you had all the top stars, really. You had all the top babyfaces. You had Lex Luger, you had the Steiners, you had Harlem Heat, you had Diamond Dallas Page. In ring 3, you had the Giants, and basically taking on a bunch of jabronis where he can toss everyone out. So the Giant tosses out guys left and right. He tosses out like 7 or 8 guys right from the very beginning. The way you win this match is once when it comes down to the final 10 guys, everyone goes to ring 2. And then that's where the Battle Royale will finish. So anyways, Kevin Nash doesn't come out until the very, 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 very end. This match is 30 minutes of just, what the fuck are we looking at, people? During the entire time, they cut in and out of rings, and all you see are a bunch of guys, and there's so many guys. All you see is guys and dudes and brothers and jacks and all sorts of super colossal guys. And they just go over the top, or hell, they don't even have to be eliminated over the top. If they go underneath the bottom rope, they're eliminated. It's just cameramen miss eliminations all over the place, even big important eliminations. People get eliminated fast. I can't describe this match in very much detail, honestly. It's such a tough match to follow. It really fucking is. It's so hard to follow this match. The commentators, Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, Mike Tenay, they couldn't follow this match. They were saying ring 1, ring 2 is ring 2, ring 1, whatever the fuck. And what really boggles my mind is, so you have 5 or 6 members of the NWO in the ring, in ring 1. And every single guy can go from ring to ring. So, you have all these guys, all of these guys. Why don't they all just, as many guys as possible, hop into ring 1 where the NWO guys are at? Because they can do this. Why don't everyone just go into ring 1 with the NWO and just beat the fuck out of those guys? Why don't they just beat up Hall and Savage and Vincent and Buff Bagwell? Why don't they just beat those guys up? I don't understand why the hell not. And Conan, why don't they just, and Mr. Perfect, why don't they just beat those guys up? It doesn't make sense to me. If this is supposed to be, if NWO has such of a big threat, and the winner of the said Battle Royale gets a title match, why don't they team up, all 54 of them? There's 54 NWO guys for them to face. There are 54 WCW guys to face. Why don't they just all teamed up and just eliminate the 5 or 6 NWO guys? It doesn't make sense to me. Giant clears out ring 3. You had Luger, DDP, you had Steiners, Harlem Heat. They all survive. Ring 1, for some particular reason, it was a good idea for them, in their opinion, in their minds. For Vincent, Virgil goes all the way to the end, and he survives. So ring 1 is basically your survivors are just the 5 NWO guys. Ring 2 is DDP. It's Rick Steiner. It's Booker T. It's Lex Luger and Rey Mysterio. And then a few other guys. And then ring 3 is just the Giants. So there's the final 10 for you. I don't know how many guys I just listed off. I think that was 10 guys. Okay, so Rey Mysterio Jr., he holds on to the bottom rope. And he just is holding on to the bottom rope as Hall and Perfect and Savage and the NWO guys are just pounding on him and just kicking the boots to him. And he's holding on for dear life, for dear long. And then right before we see him get eliminated, here comes the big boss man cutting around the corner and cuts the camera angle. So we cannot see We don't see Rey Mysterio getting eliminated, and then they cut away from an overhead view of the rings. So we don't see Rey Mysterio Jr. getting eliminated, even though he had the most dramatic ending of an elimination. Just shit like that, where people are getting eliminated, but you just can't see them. So, all right, we established this, though. So we have Savage, we have Hall, we have Vincent for some reason, but let's get down here. Finally, it comes down between the Giants, DDP, Hall, and Savage. There's your final four. And, of course, Giant and DDP, they team up against Hall and Savage. Savage gets eliminated after a diamond cutter and a choke slam. And then it's 2-on-1. So Scott Hall gets to ring 2. He does his pointing towards the stage. The NWO music plays. And it's the 60th man. It's supposed to be Kevin Nash, who hasn't popped up at all throughout the entire match. So 30 minutes later, he pops up, and it's not Kevin Nash at all. Instead, it's Hollywood Hogan. Hollywood Hogan is the 60th man. So Hollywood Hogan comes in, and now it's these four guys going up against each other. Then all of a sudden, down from the Raptors comes a guy who looks like Sting, but it isn't Sting. Again, it's Kevin Nash. So Kevin Nash comes down from the Raptors, dressed up as Sting, but the commentators play it off like it's Sting, as they've been doing this for the past 5 pay-per-views or where the fuck. I don't understand why. It's fucking obviously Kevin Nash. He's like 7 feet fucking tall. So here comes Kevin Nash. He scares off Hollywood Hogan, who eliminates himself, by the way. He eliminates the Giant. DDP's already eliminated. So he eliminates the Giant, and then he eliminates himself. He eliminates himself, reveals it's Kevin Nash, as that wasn't obvious, and Scott Hall wins. Scott Hall wins a title match against Hollywood Hogan or Sting or who the fuck is the champion by Super Brawl. And he wins this fucking World War III Battle Royale, and it's a bunch of fucking garbage. He wins by default. He doesn't eliminate anybody in the finals. He doesn't eliminate anyone. Kevin Nash, as Sting, scares off Hollywood Hogan. Whatever. He eliminates Giant, eliminates himself. So Scott Hall wins. Imagine if in the Royal Rumble match, you get down between Roman Reigns and fucking Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose eliminates himself and allows Roman Reigns to win. It's fucking horseshit. Scott Hall wins by default. 30 minutes of how the hell am I supposed to follow this? 60 men, 59 men really, plus 2 guys at the end, a whole lot of horseshit. Bullshit, garbage, 0 out of 10. One of the worst matches I've ever seen. It's balls. It's terrible. It's so hard to follow. 20 men, 20 men, 20 men. They can go in every ring. They can go from ring 1 to ring 3, whatever they wish, as long as they don't touch the floor. Why don't the 54 WCW guys gain up on the 5 NWO members? It doesn't make sense to me. The cameramen can't follow this shit. The commentators can't follow this shit. The wrestlers can't follow this shit. So I'm not going to follow this shit. This match was garbage. A 0 out of 10. Not to mention, Virgil was in the final 10. What in the bluest of blue shit balls is this? Garbage. Overall, World War III, 1997, is a very boring show. Very mediocre. Nothing memorable whatsoever. A 4 out of 10. Scott Hall wins. Does not get his title match at Super Brawl because of some stupid bullshit that happens at Starrcade, which I've already talked about in my 12 days of Christmas video series. Anyways, coming up next, I do WWF's In Your House D-Generation X, which is another bad show. And then I'll do the Go Home Nitro for Starrcade 1997 as a bonus show. And that would be the end of 1997. I'm Daniel Rock 08, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.